What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another live Pokemon Showdown session. Today we are jumping onto the Ubers ladder with a Golduck on our team, because why not? Golduck actually puts in quite a bit of work, so hopefully we can get some on screen here. Anyway, before we get started today, and before I go over the team and all that stuff, just a friendly little reminder in case you guys haven't done so already, and if you would like to show your support, feel free to do so by clicking that thumbs up button right below this video. That always helps out a lot, and so do your comments and thoughts down below in the comment section. If you have any suggestions or anything, any Pokemon you would like to see in future sessions, or tiers that you would like me to do that I don't do too often, yeah, feel free to bounce some ideas off people down in the comment section. You guys always come up with great ideas, so that is that. Now, let's take a look at this Golduck Life Orb with Cloud 9 to eliminate weather effects, which means even specially defensive Groudon with max HP and max special defense dies to his Scald switching in. And yeah, our water moves obviously have effect. Focus Blast does a number on things like Tyranitar, Oko's it, honestly. Even in sand, we have a timid nature because Golduck's kind of slow. And then we have Ice Beam for the dragons and Encore for Xerneas that love to spam Geomancy. So we can lock them into that and then switch in our Lucario to get up a free substitute. This is going to be a Focus Punch substitute, Mega Lucario, Jolly Nature for the positive in speed, because even Mega Lucario isn't that fast. Max attack, obviously. Crunch is there for things like Lugia and Giratina, which are everywhere. Bullet Punch is a much needed priority, which does a lot of damage thanks to adaptability. And then, yeah, we can get substitutes up on things like Giratina that like to Willow you, or Lugias that like to T-Wave you, and then you can Focus Punch things and watch them die. Seabird, the Lugia, is going to be our main defensive Pokemon. I probably should decrease the HP EVs down to 248, just so that we have an odd number for Stealth Rock, but I'm not going to do that right now. So we have Multi-Scale, obviously, so that lets us take hits pretty easily. Then we have T-Wave, Aeroblast, Roost, and Whirlwind. Whirlwind over Dragon Tail because Dragon Tail does not force out substitutes, and Dragon Tail also misses, and it really does negligible damage, even coming off a base 90 attack. So I'm just not going to worry about it. We'll go with the Whirlwind. That should be able to shuffle teams around, because they love to set up in this tier. They really do. Everything spams Swords Dance and Nasty Plot. So, yeah. Then we have Zeke the Zekrom, which is the muscle behind this operation. Choice Band with max speed, max attack. Base 90 speed is really not that fast, so we don't outspeed too many things. But when we do, we hit them with a Choice Banded Bolt Strike or Outrage, things just die. Groudon cannot switch in. Outrage 2-hit KOs it. Xerneas gets 2-hit KO'd by Bolt Strike. Lugia usually gets 2-hit KO'd, so yeah, it's a good time. Then we have Luna, the specially defensive Clefable. I might want to change that nature to Bold just to take physical hits a little bit better, because, I mean, Clefable is really just used to check Dark types and set up Stealth Rocks, honestly. And Unaware is also very useful for things that love to set up in the tier in case we can't get in with Lugia and Whirlwind successfully. So I'll change this to Bold just to increase our defense just a little bit. So as for the moveset, Wish, Protect, Moonblast, and Stealth Rock, nothing really fancy there. I needed a Stealth Rock setter. I don't actually have a Rapid Spinner or Defogger on this team. I don't know if that's going to end up being a problem. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then last but not least, we have our special Wall Breaker / Revenge Killer, Kyurem White, with a Choice Scarf. Most of the time people run it with Choice Specs. And because it's Scarf, actually I'm going to run a modest nature to increase its firepower even more. We have Draco Fusion Flare for nice fire coverage, Ice Beam, which is also stab, and Earth Power, which is pretty decent coverage. Especially because it allows us to outspeed an Oko Mega Gengar. So if we can sacrifice whatever's in at the moment, Kyurem can just come in and clean it up pretty easily. So yeah, and then, I mean, Choice Scarf Draco does a ridiculous amount of damage in this tier with all the dragons running around. So with that being said, that's the team. I think I went into a little bit too much detail because we're like 4.5 minutes in and we haven't found a battle yet. So I apologize for that. That was a ridiculously long intro. I've had longer than that, but I've been pretty good about keeping it short as of late. I like to explain everything, though. I like to try to explain the thought process. I don't know. Sometimes I just talk too much. So here we go. We're in a battle. And I did ladder up a little bit before going into this session. I was actually in the mid 1300s, but then I realized I wasn't logged in. I was just on some alt that I didn't register, and I closed out the browser, so I had to redo it after I logged in. I think I'm in the mid 1200s now, which really isn't that high at all, but it's better than being at like 1,000. So hopefully we run into some better players. So Darkrai obviously is going to be the lead here. This thing loves to just spam Dark Void and then Nasty Plot and such. But we do outspeed thanks to our Choice Scarf. We can just go for an Ice Beam. I don't know that I want to drop a Draco. I mean, his whole team doesn't really like Draco, to be honest. So we'll go for, oh, never mind, it didn't cancel it for me. And he goes for the Dark Void. I mean, he could have been Focus Sash, so it may not have mattered. Wait a minute. No, he has lefties. I should have went for Draco. I tried to cancel it, and it just didn't. I didn't do it in time. So now we're asleep. Can try to burn a couple of sleep turns here by going for Ice Beam. And he's going to set up Nasty Plots, which I don't understand because even after a couple turns of lefties, Bullet Punch from a Mega Lucario still kills. So, oh, and we wake up on the second turn and get off the Ice Beam. Down goes the Darkrai. Wanted to call you Lucario for some reason. But yeah, okay, so that Darkrai did absolutely nothing. Only 24%. That's basically Stealth Rock damage. So in comes Dialga here. And looking at my team, do I really need to keep this Kyurem? I kind of want to, but what do I want to switch in? I mean, I guess I can switch in Lugia. Could also switch in Clefable, I guess, but Flash Cannon can be a thing. So I'm going to switch in Golduck here because he seems to be the least useful on the team. Whenever I don't see a Groudon and the only weather Pokemon is Kyogre, Golduck is kind of expendable, so he's kind of used as fodder here, but we can get off a Focus Blast first, most likely, because he's probably not max speed. So we can just go for a Focus Blast. That'll dish out a decent amount of damage. I mean, even if he is max speed, we can live one more unless he gets max damage or a higher roll or something. So we'll see. We will see what he wants to do. If he wants to switch out, maybe predicting that going into Giratina. It's kind of risky. Nope, he just stays in. That's a 70%. Wow, and he drops a Draco on us. So, yeah, Golduck is down. So he didn't really do a whole lot. A 70% to a Dialga is not even bad, though. Not even going to complain. And his team is so weak to Dragon. It's not even funny. Not even funny. I mean, unless that... Well, I guess he only has 2 weaknesses, huh? Dialga isn't weak to Dragon. I don't know what I'm talking about. He's probably going to switch here. So, I'm going to sub as he switches in Giratina. Oh. So we get the free sub up, which is great because he can't Willow us. And we have a chance to get a defense drop here. So I'll go for the Crunch. That should do a decent amount of damage. It can't get lefties because it has to carry the Grisius Orb. And yeah, that does 40%. No defense drop. But 40% to a Giratina is not bad either. And the question is, do I want to stay in and crunch again? I kind of do, but I don't want to get Willowed. I really don't want to get Willowed. We can take a Shadow Sneak if that's what he's going to go for. But we're probably better off going into something like Clefable. I would like to get up rocks for that Kyurem White, too. I really would. Because it's a problem. We can't OHKO it with a Bullet Punch. He goes with a Dragon Tail. Okay. I don't even know if that was going to break my sub, to be honest. If I wanted to set up another sub there, I could have. Okay, so that could not have worked out any better, and now we can set up Stealth Rocks as he switches in Arceus Steel. Okay. Arceus Steel. I mean, that's a pretty good check for Dragon types, so that makes sense. Arceus Fairy is really good, too. I think I used that in the only other Uber session on this channel. So I'm going to go into Lugia because he can't do a whole lot to me. Even if he's special and I'm physically defensive, not too worried about it. I'm going to fire off a T-Wave now. He has no immunities to it. We should be able to cripple something or waste his Lumberry. I don't know what he would be carrying a Lumberry on, but yeah. So out comes the Kyogre. It is the primal variant, and this thing is paralyzed, which is perfect because he speed ties with Zekrom, and now he does not, thanks to that paralysis, so we can come in and just spam Bolt Strikes or Outrages or whatever we want to do. Now, the question is, do I want to predict the Thunder and switch in Zeke here? I mean, if he goes for Ice Beam, that'd be kind of scary. We could switch in Clefable, since that's essentially our specially defensive Mon. We don't really need Clefable for too much, so I think I'm just going to switch it in here. He does go for the Ice Beam. That does 30%. And yeah, with lefties, that's really not too bad. You can throw up a Wish or fire off a Moonblast here. Let's see. We might be able to pass a Wish into something. But I kind of feel like he might not want to stay in here. I don't know. He might want to just go into that Arceus again. I mean, which is fine. No, he opts to stay in, and we get the special attack drop with the Moonblast, and Argent Pulse still just Okos. Poor Clefable. Oh my gosh. That is too powerful. I mean, it is rain boosted, and it's a Mega, or not Mega Kyogre, Primal Kyogre, whatever. Okay, so poor Golduck and Clefable have bit the dust here. And our best option is probably to just go out into Zeke, I guess. Because he can definitely either just force this thing out or just outright kill it if he stays in. I kind of want a Volt Switch, predicting a switch here. Let's see. I mean, anything kind of just takes a lot of damage from Bolt Strike, so we're just going to go for that, and Kyogre just goes down. Goodbye. Get out of here. We are locked into the Bolt Strike now, so we can go into a Dragon type. And that could be a bit of a problem. I don't really know. I mean, actually, that Dialga might just die to a Bolt Strike. I don't know. Now, this I'm not too afraid of. Even if he has EQ, that's not a one-hit KO, because he's not going to get stab off of it. So we can probably just go for a Bolt Strike here. If he's max speed, we don't outspeed, obviously. But he might be a bulkier variant. I don't really know. No, we do outspeed. That does 68%. He goes for the Judgment, which is a resisted hit, so he's not carrying the EQ. That did not do very much. Only about 30%. So we can fire off another Bolt Strike. I'm surprised we hit 3 of those in a row, but I'm not going to complain. Down goes the Arceus Steel, which is great, because now we can just come in with Kyurem White and spam Draco. He has nothing to take it. From the range that his Dialga is at, thanks to Golduck's Focus Blast, yeah, that's not going to do much. Fusion Flare, yeah, that doesn't do much at all. We can go for another Bolt Strike. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just go for Ice Beam or Draco there. Fusion, what was he predicting there? I don't know. Fusion Flare. I guess maybe the Lucario, predicting a Dragon type move. I mean, and we take out the Dialga too. So Zekrom is just steamrolling this team right now. Granted, he easily could have taken me out with an Ice Beam, but I think he overpredicted, and out comes the Giratina. We may just get a full sweep here. I don't know. Oh no, the Giratina survives with 6%. We do get the paralysis, but that's completely meaningless. So we're gonna get a victory here, as we'll give him a GG, as we can just send in our Cowpay, the Lucario, and we can go for a Bullet Punch, and that's gonna be a dead Giratina. So Zekrom putting in some serious work here. He killed everything pretty much except for Darkrai and that Giratina, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the first part of this session. As what is our rating? 1237. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll try to get up around 1300 by the end of this session, which will be 5 parts long. As always, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or comment, or whatever you would like to do, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.